Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, May 31st, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, there's some early signs, or there were some signs, of a Google algorithm update on May 29th, May 28th or so. The tools didn't really show much, but there was definitely a significant amount of chatter in the Webmaster World forums and on social media, but the tools themselves didn't show much. So if you did see any blips or whatever, it might be Google testing something, or it may have been a small algorithm update hitting a certain number of sites. This week, Google announced that starting on July 1st, Google will be announcing or switching all sites that they have not yet indexed or discovered or known about to mobile-first indexing by default. So if you launch a new website on July 2nd, Google will not even think about indexing it using desktop-first indexing. It will by default and only index it using mobile-first indexing. So if you launch a website on July 2nd that is not mobile-friendly, you may have issues with rankings because Google's only going to be indexing it using a mobile-first indexing process. So there's more information there if you want to learn more about it. That's a pretty big announcement, but it does make sense. Google did confirm that they fixed the indexing issue from last Thursday night. They confirmed they fixed it on Sunday. They did say it was actually fixed well before that. It did look like it was fixed by Friday afternoon, but it definitely didn't seem like it was fixed. It also looks like it was specific to fresh content not being indexed. Google said it was unrelated to the one from Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday morning, that Google basically said they were having problems getting new content indexed. So I assume the actual cause of the issue was unrelated, but the actual issue itself, like getting new index content into new index, seemed to be an issue. Google's been having bugs for the past couple months now that are very, very visible. But Google again said it was fixed. It's really, really fixed, and do not worry about it. So people are still complaining that there is still a bug, but that's probably not this bug. Just generally, sites aren't fully indexed by Google. There are issues where webmasters and SEOs say, hey, my site's not indexed by Google, and that's normal, but there is no bug that would be causing that from happening according to Google. So the Favicon new design for the mobile search results launched, and now there's Favicons. We discussed this last week in the mobile search results. SEOs are really, really not happy about it because they think it kind of invades and kind of makes the ads look more like organic results and so forth. So with that, SEOs are having fun. Some people say, hey, starting to regret our choice of Favicon using the old ad symbol. Bill Hartzer using the new ad symbol for his Favicon, which is kind of against Google's guidelines. You see lots of examples of poor quality results. What if you use the old Google ad logos? So lots of things going on here with these things, and there are guidelines that you can actually follow. Google will not show any favicon that is deemed inappropriate, including pornography or hate symbols like swastikas. If this type of imagery is discovered within a favicon, Google will replace it by default within a default icon. And there's the guidelines. So SEOs were having lots of fun with it, like I discussed. And I use the word penalized. It's technically not a penalty. I think it's kind of like a penalty, but I'm not sure. Google has removed favicons that went against Google's guidelines. So they defaulted Bill Hartzer's ad default back to the default icon. That's if you don't have a favicon, Google will default it to that. Keep in mind, also if your favicon is against Google's guidelines, it would default to that as well. A swastika, a website, favicon was changed to default icons, and so forth. It seems to me that Google's only doing this, not algorithmically, but if they're notified of this. So I asked John Mueller and Danny Sullivan about this. But before I get to that, it also looks very weird on the local results. So here's the local pack that basically you can barely see that there's an ad. It kind of blends into the title. You barely see that this is actually an ad versus the other ones, which is very, very upsetting to the local SEO community as well. And then Google hinted that there might be an algorithm out there to detect and kind of like remove favicons that aren't according to their guidelines. Now, Google has said that the favicons are updated automatically, based on Google indexing the homepage and then crawling in and figuring out this new favicon. But I asked Alison, would this be would manual actions be sent out for violations, or would you just see your favicon removed without notice? Furthermore, is there any of this automated? Is your favicon removed? How do you fix it and notify Google of the change? And I asked John Mueller about this, and John Mueller basically hinted that a lot of this was algorithmic. So I'm not sure if he's just saying the discovery of the new icon, which obviously would be algorithmic. Obviously, Google will detect, hey, this is a new icon. We crawled your webpage on date A on May 1st, and it was this favicon. On May 5th, it was that icon, and we should update it and so forth. But in terms of those icons being removed if they violate the guidelines, it seems so far only when you tell Danny Sullivan of it does Google actually process that and make that removal. And if that's the case, it seems more like a rich snippet, a rich result manual action, where Google will remove the rich results or rich snippets from your site if you have a violation or a guideline violation around rich results. But it won't necessarily hurt your rankings. It seems the same case here, where if you do have a favicon that's against Google guidelines, they'll remove that and default it to the normal, the default favicon and not your favicon, but your rankings will be fine, and that's fine. So I'm trying to look for more clarity around this. It would be great if Google sent out notifications that your favicon doesn't apply the guidelines, because some sites that even have those swastika favicons wouldn't even know, because that's what their favicons are. On the mobile first indexing front, Google said, again, the default will be on July 1st, all new unknown websites to Google will be mobile first indexing. But I asked John Mueller, what happens if that site launches on July 2nd and it's not mobile friendly, and it could definitely suffer because mobile first indexing, your site's not ready for mobile first indexing, even though it's unknown to Google and it's using the mobile first indexing process. And he said, generally, it's not a problem. Most websites by far that are launching new are mobile friendly and are mobile first ready. But he said maybe we could do what we're doing is going to plan for the next wave of mobile first indexing for sites that are old, that are not yet ready for mobile first indexing, is to notify them if they are not yet in mobile first indexing, notify them that they have problems. And he said maybe they can expand that to notify websites that are not only in mobile desktop first indexing, but also mobile first indexing that are still having problems, to notify those websites, because hey, you can always update your website and have issues, and mobile first indexing can have issues with that. So maybe Google will expand those notifications that they're planning to send out in the future to across all categories of websites that are just having issues with mobile first indexing. So we'll see if that happens. It will be very interesting, and I think that's a good idea, because websites do not stay the same all the time. Google on the Medic update. So when I came out with my thing on August 1st, 2018, there was a big core update. Everybody noticed it, no doubt. I did a huge study looking at hundreds, I think several hundred websites that complained they got hit. And those results overwhelmingly show that medical and health-related website content by far got hit more than other websites. Of course, across all websites, there were definitely categories across all categories got hit. But the vast majority of websites that reported issues were across medical and health websites. Google then came in and said, hey, no, it's not just medical stuff. It's across all websites. And a lot of people said, no, my website is not medical related, health related. It got hit also. Yes, but it seemed like it was hit harder. And then this morning, John Mueller talked about this update. And he said, maybe our algorithms in the last year or so have been focusing more and where they're a bit more critical. For example, one area that I've seen mentioned a lot is the whole medical space. And he went on to explain that Google might be better at judging medical types of websites or medically content websites, because that's more important, because you're reading medical content, health-related content, you want to make sure you can trust those types of websites. So he's kind of confirming all those suspicions from the data that we've heard. And on that topic, Google said that they're working, and they've been hearing a lot of complaints from content in Romania and other countries that are not necessarily English, that the search quality is poor. And he said, yes, we passed along the feedback. We definitely see it. The search quality team is aware of it, and it's probably being worked on. He wouldn't say for sure, but obviously John Mueller is very careful with what he says. Google launched some cool features this week. At I/O they announced a couple things, and one of the things they announced was 3D objects in search with the ability to use AR, augmented reality, to show it. So posted some examples of this in action. Basically, you go here, I was a little quick video, see if it works. So you go to the search results, you search for like panda or shark or whatever it might be, And then you click on View in 3D. It opens up the 3D version as an object. Then you click on AR. And when you click on AR, you can actually go ahead and see that in your office. And then it will go ahead and place that object, or panda in this case, into your location. Again, this is going to potentially be used for commercial queries like, how do these shoes fit on me? How does this table look in my kitchen? And stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting to see. Google actually launched that. LinkedIn at XMX London a week ago gave a presentation, and they showed how they were actually hit by the February 2017, a few years ago, core update, or what we used to call back then the Phantom update. And they showed a graph showing how they got hit by that, and then they used various machine learning techniques to kind of figure out where their lowest quality content is and highest quality content, and ways to improve that, and how it actually had a success factor in terms of using that technology to improve their quality content and be saved by the February 2017 update. And of course, it's very interesting to see a public company, probably a few years later, actually confirm they got hit by an algorithm update. Google said the disavow tool is not going away. Just use the old version for now in the old Google Search Console. A lot of rumors around this and if it's going away, but it seems like it's not, so just relax a little bit. Google said they could definitely crawl web workers that schedule to work immediately. Martin Splitt covered it. He said, it's not so straightforward when it comes to web workers. It turns out web workers are supported, but rendering does not seem to wait on deferred work, so set timeouts, for instance. So as long as you schedule your work immediately, you'll be fine. He did say, here's some examples, and then he said, note that the set timeout is just one example of deferred work, so I advise a lot of caution when using web workers to generate content that you want to get indexed. So make sure to test it when you're doing that. Google Chrome is testing, or actually launched, in their Omni box, where you do search suggestions, actual thumbnail icons. It launched by default in Chrome 69, which was last September, and now they're actually showing these thumbnail icons in the Omni box. Google launched the ability for restaurants and their customers to post what their popular dishes are with more information about that. So if you are a restaurant owner, you definitely want to take a look at this feature. It actually lets you put in there the ability to see your most popular dishes. They could click into them and see pictures and content about it. And you can add it yourself by going to your Android device or opening up Google Maps and adding your information there. So definitely take a look at that if you do have a restaurant. Google is busy updating their developer docs. They've updated numerous developer docs over the years, but most recently in the past couple months, they've been very busy. Specifically, Lizzie Harvey has been very, very active in doing so, and she posted about how they updated the things related to mobile first indexing. They've updated their how-to structured data markup. They've updated their mini apps. They've updated their developer guide for how Google search works for developers. And there she is at Google I/O. That's her. That's Martin Splitt, Maria, and Daniel, who's now part of the same, all part of the same team, which is cool to see them at Google I/O. Big changes have happened to Google AdSense. Google AdSense is getting rid of their text-only ad units, as well as a bunch of other changes. I posted the whole email from Google over there. But in short, the ad sizes are all defaulting to responsive. They're removing text-only ads. They're going to change the text ad styles. They're simplifying the if no ads are available. They're going to collapse them by default. Experiments will continue, and they're synchronized ad codes. Definitely take a look at that if you are an AdSense publisher. Google AdSense this week, a lot of publishers complaining that their ads are not displaying on their websites. Or ads are not displaying on their websites at all. Google has not responded to any of these complaints as far as I saw. And there's lots and lots of complaints, and the complaints are continuing. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. And if you are based in India or you're near India, Google's launching a whole series of webmaster conferences, like Google Webmaster events in person. There's going to be 15 events across 15 different cities in India, 6 different languages. There's one for women only as well. So definitely take a look at that if you are in India and you want to learn more from Google's Webmaster team. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.